Hey, what's up? It's Ben from Breaking Benjamin. Thank you so much for submitting your questions for our Sixth Sense Ask Anything chat. Thanks to Nikki Sixx and Jen for having me on tonight. First question is from Jessica from Farmington. What is your favorite part about what you do for a living? By far my favorite part about being a musician and playing is, having fans tell me how the music has really gotten them through some rough times in life. Makes it really gives it a lot of weight, makes it really validating and not just kind of playing and, rock and roll life. It makes it so that it's actually doing something good in the world. So, next question is from Jacqueline from East Greenbush. If you each had to pick a tattoo to get right now, what would it be? Well, it's just me. I would probably get some kind of Star Wars tattoo because I don't have a Star Wars tattoo yet, and I love Star Wars. Probably the Darth Vader mask or something like that. Lone from El Monte. That's L-O-A-N. I'm going to say Lone. There's a recurring theme of angels and demons in the last couple of albums. Was that a conscious effort? Yes and no. I mean, I kind of write the music for the songs and the lyrics sort of write themselves, and usually it has, that seems to be a reoccurring thing just because maybe my psyche or something is fascinated with them, but it's not really like a too conscious of an effort. Brian from Fort Smith. Which song do you enjoy to perform live the most? That's a tough one. I would say Diary of Jane and Failure are two really fun songs to play live. And then there's Anthony from Auckland. Has the addition of another guitar player changed the arrangements on earlier songs? No, not at all. The addition of the other guitar player actually makes it so that we can play the song how it was intended to be played. When you're in the studio, you can layer a lot of guitars, and so we would always try to find a way live before we added an extra guitar player, like how are we going to do this, and try to integrate two parts into one. And now all the guitars can sort of breathe and live in their own space and be exactly what it's supposed to be. Kyle from Greenlee asks, how did the new band know each other before starting work on the new album? Well, I knew Jason Brow, the one guitar player, because he was a guitar player in a band called Red, and we toured a lot together. I knew the other guitar player, Keith Wallen, because he was in a band called Adelita's Way, who I also toured a lot with. And the bass player I've known through the years, because he's from the same sort of area that the band sort of came up on, and he was doing his own thing with his own bands. We just never had a chance to play together. And then the drummer I actually met on tour, not playing with him, just he came to a show and wound up being a really good drummer, so I wound up taking him on. His name's Sean Foist, and the bass player's name is Aaron Brook. Rebecca from Laredo asks, what can we expect from Dark Before Dawn? I would say definitely classic Breaking Benjamin. I've been the primary songwriter ever since the band started, so my style really hasn't changed. I'm not really interested in reinventing the wheel. I just want to make really good music the best way I know how, and I just kind of do my thing, and people tell me I have a sound, and so I just stick to that sound because that's what I like to play. Stephanie from Rockport asks, will there be a tour after the new album is released? Absolutely, yes, there will be a tour after the new album is released, and hopefully, it's up to everybody, but it's up to the fans, because the more successful it is, the more we're going to stay out on the road to promote it and get it out there to all the people that want to see it. Hunter from Long Beach asks, were you still creating the music while the band was on a break, or did you put it on the back burner? A little bit of both. I mean, I didn't really dive straight into the album, but being a songwriter is kind of you know, it's just a passion of mine, so I never stop writing. I'm always tinkering, and I'm always, you know, having little ideas that I'll record into my phone here and there. But once I got the band put together in the last year before the album was done, I really dove in to finish it up. Shaq from Singapore. Is there any changes to the style of Breaking Benjamin before and after your hiatus? No, there's no change whatsoever to the style of the band. It's the same as it's always been. Just better. Michael from Jackson. Would you ever join or headline a music cruise? I would. If the time was right and all the you know, stars aligned for it, I would definitely be interested in doing something like that. Austin from Watkins. Will you be making any music video for any of the new songs? Yeah, we're going to try to make a video for every song that we release. So we're still kind of tossing around ideas for Failure, and we don't even really know what the next single is going to be, because we just want Failure to kind of you know, be as big as it could possibly be before we release anything else. So Jacob from Garden Grove asks, what was the inspiration behind the new song Failure? I really don't like to talk about lyrics, because I like when the fans put their own spin on stuff, and they tell me kind of what it means to them. So not to skate around it, but that's the best way I can answer that. I like when fans tell me what the songs are about. It's like part of the fun for me. Michelle from Springfield. Were you at all surprised by the reception you received from fans after such a long absence, particularly the new album going to #1 on iTunes before it was even released? Yeah, absolutely. We were all surprised. We are all and still are all just humbled and really grateful for all the support that we get from all the fans all around the world and in America, and we're just nothing but absolutely grateful, and we're really looking forward to the new band coming out and playing for everybody that, you know, wants to see us. And so thank you all from the bottom of our hearts for helping us to get to that #1 on iTunes and supporting the band. We really do appreciate it, like sincerely, truly, from the bottom of our hearts. Jim from Collegeville asks, what's the best song that hasn't been a single that you've ever written? Even though some, you know, shady stuff went down and it has a very bad version of it, well, I shouldn't say a bad version, a different version that I don't particularly think suits the song well, I'll put it that way. But I like Blow Me Away. I think it's a very fun song to play, and I was in a good space way back when I wrote it for Halo 2. We'll just try to put whatever happened behind us and play the good version and move on from there. But I wish everyone the best of luck in their careers, whoever had to do with that. But we'll move on. Okay. Kristen from Newark asks, what do your fans mean to you? Our fans mean the world to us. I mean, we're a very fan-driven band, and we're all out here doing this just for the fans. You know, we love our fans so much, and our fans are the greatest fans in the world, man. They're really supportive, they're really polite, they're great-hearted people, and the band couldn't ask for better fans. So it's all for them. It's all for you guys. We love you. Thank you so much for all your support. Rob from Baton Rouge asks, have you made any changes to your rig with the new lineup, new guitars, effects, amps? Can't wait to hear the new album. Yeah, actually a lot of changes. I actually run an AskAnythingChat too, just basically straight to the PA, so I don't even really have an amp. Because if I had an amp, I'd still run the AskAnythingChat, and I would be running it through a cabinet, but I would still be emulating whether I have the cabinet mic'd or not. So if you're going to emulate anyway. I just run the signal just straight direct through a cabinet block. And that's pretty much what I have for my amp. My guitars, I moved over to ESP just because I found it's just got much better resonance for some of the songs, and just kind of plays better for me. They're much more customizable as far as like everything that the artist wants, and it's just overall for me a much better guitar. And then effects, like I said, I use an AskAnythingChat 2, a fractal AskAnythingChat 2. And so it's pretty much, I mean, anybody that's familiar with those things, they're beasts of the industry, and they can pretty much do anything you could possibly imagine, all in that amazing machine. So we have to give props to Fractal for getting us hooked up with those. Let's see here. Let's see. Where am I? Kennedy from Linden asks, what song have you written that means the most to you? They all kind of mean the same. I work really hard on all of them, so they all kind of have their own identity, so I don't really pick one over the other. It's just, you know, I just don't really have a favorite. Brandon from Savannah says, how long did it take to make this entire album? Well, if you put all the time, like, that I actually worked on it together, it'd probably be maybe from start to finish, like 5 months, 6 months, something like that. But that's like just consolidating all the time down to one. Ben from Monroe, what was the biggest challenge when writing the Dark Before Dawn album? This album was just actually it was such a fun experience to write, and the songs are the best I think I've ever written. It was just great. I had a great engineer. I produced it. I had a great engineer, John Bender, work on it with me. We did it with the guys, Jason, Aaron, Sean, and Keith, and myself, and there really wasn't any challenges. It was just absolute pleasure to work with everybody from beginning to end, and I've never had that on any other album. Megan from York asks, what's the number one thing that motivates you? The number one thing that motivates me, I guess now, would be my son, because he's amazing. He's anybody that has kids knows it's a life-changing experience, and my son definitely is the life force of me, so he's the reason I get up in the morning. Lisa from Santa Clarita asks, do you still ever get nervous to perform in front of huge crowds? You know, you'd think I would, but I've been okay. I thought maybe I would, but it's just like riding a bike. I've been fortunate enough to be able to do all these like big radio shows and toured with a bunch of, you know, bigger acts, and I was kind of worried when I, you know, went on hiatus and I came back that I would get a little nervy in front of the arena crowds, and it just kind of feels like being, you know, riding a bike. It just feels like being at home, you know. So no, I don't get nervous. Charles from Cambridge asks, did you ever think you and your band would be this successful when you first started out? I always hoped to be. I never had an expectation on it, whether I was going to be or not. I just did my best to be, and worked really, really hard, sang so hard, wrote the best songs I could write, and just gave it my all, and I guess here I am still doing it, and really grateful to the fans for that. Michael from Levittown asks, how does Dark Before Dawn compare to previous albums? Well, again, I think it's a staple Breaking Benjamin. I think it sounds like Breaking Benjamin sounds, and I try to just make every album better than the last one. Whether I achieve that or not, I guess, is out of my hands to decide. That's up to the fans and the people that listen to the music, like, without unbiased ear. Emily from Houston asks, what bands inspired you while growing up? 100% Nirvana. If it weren't for Nirvana, I wouldn't be a musician. If it weren't for Nirvana, I wouldn't really listen to music. If it weren't for Nirvana, I wouldn't like what music had become. They really ushered in a new era of music, and I was along with those grunge kids of the 90s that really attached to that kind of music. Naya from San Antonio asks, what bands are you looking forward to touring with again? Well, I don't know who I'll be touring with, so, I don't know if I could look forward to it, but I'd like to tour with Korn again. That was a really fun tour. I'd like to tour with all of them, really. I'm looking forward to doing a lot of the radio festivals that we're going to be doing, because there's just a ton of bands there that I normally wouldn't tour with, so it's cool to see them. How do you draw Garrett from Philadelphia asks, how do you draw inspiration for writing such deep song lyrics? A lot of pain in life, and a lot of joy in life, and a lot of just life, I live, and something will pop into my head, and I'll just get on my phone and record it really quick, or I'll, write in my notepad on my phone really quick just to get I used to have, back in the day before smartphones, I used to have all of these little pads and pens and these little video recorders, and now with this phone I can just do it all in one place, so it's a lot neater than it was way back before then. Jordan from Indianapolis asks, what kind of feelings are you experiencing as this album release date comes close for Dark Before Dawn? Just excitement. We're really stoked. Failure, thanks to the fans and thanks to all the supporting media like Nikki Sixx and Jen and all of the radio and all the people that have supported the band. And it's done really well for us. We're really excited about it, and so the excitement's the only feeling that we're feeling right now. So that's it. I want to say thanks again to Nikki Sixx and the Queen of Rock, Jen, for letting me be on the show tonight. And I want to thank you guys for all of your great questions from the Sixth Sense fans. So thank you all so very much for having me.